Oh, what is up, guys and gals? Welcome to episode number 94 of the Nonsense Review. I'm your host, as always, Devon, and joining me equally, as always, is Rick.
Hello, everyone.
And today is the day where we announced that we had big plans for our Christmas weeks, and the goings-on in the wide universe released two things in quick succession, and it's like, Rick, are we doing this instead? Let's see if the first thing's a movie. It's not. Awesome.
Yeah, and if it was a movie that was like an hour, we probably would have done that as well, but nah, it's a series, so we're doing the opening of the series. So this week and next week, we're having something new for both times.
Yeah, this week we're doing Dragon Age Absolution, which blew my mind a little bit because it was quite funny, because literally after, it was the evening of when we recorded last week's episode, where we said, oh, we'll reveal our big master plan next week, and I think we might have even said we're doing movies, so that was a fucking lie. But but yeah, the evening of, apparently there's a thing called Dragon Age Day, which is something BioWare made up. It's the same as N7 Day, but at least N7 Day makes sense because November 7th. And it was just like, here's a sneak peek of our new show that's going to be on Netflix next Friday. And I just went, Rick! What are we doing about this?
Yep. So, we were content for this to be a footnote while we did our regular plan. However, yeah, it looks to be fun. So, we're going to do that today. But before we get into it, what are we doing?
Before we get into it, what we're doing is what we always do. If you're new to the podcast, you probably don't know this, but before we get onto the bulk of the review, we like to discuss what's been going on in the wide world, as well as stuff on a personal scale. So, with that in mind, Rick, how's your week been, buddy?
I have done absolutely nothing. However, the Game Awards have happened. So, Elden Ring won Game of the Year, role-playing and art direction, and FromSoft and Bandai Namco got to share the studio and directorship. However, God of War Ragnarok is the real star of the show, with Best Action Adventure, Best Narrative, Best Score and Soundtrack, Best Audio Design, Best Innovation and Accessibility, which I'm absolutely all for, and Christopher Judge, the voice of Kratos, got Best Performance, and he showed up to the awards wearing a gold scale mail effect suit. If you've not seen that suit, have a look for it. It looks fantastic.
This seems like a great chance for me to interrupt your segment with a little bit of mine. One of my actual talking points this week is going to be talking about God of War Ragnarok, because I finally beat it, at least the main plot. And
good stuff.
Hearing that Christopher Judge got the best voice actor, or actor, however you want to phrase it. Yeah, I played that game and he fucking deserved it. He nailed it. He knocked it out of the park. He was already a talented actor. You could see that from the first God of War, where he was Kratos. But yeah, his performance knocked it out of the park, and I'll talk about it a bit more later on.
Yeah. FF14 got ongoing game again and community support.
I'm not sure it deserves community support, but okay.
Nah, I think what it means is community rather than community support, but oh well.
Even then, there is a very big percentage of that community that is cancer. I know FF14 players don't like to talk about it, but it's true.
But yeah, Stray, the cat game, got Best Indie and Debut Indie, and it beat out Vampire Survivors on that.
I feel slightly bad for Vampire Survivors on that, because Vampire Survivors actually spawned a genre.
Yes. It was winning as well for a good long time. I was going to mention it later, but I'll mention it now. Vampire Survivors has DLC coming in preparation for winning the award, and they also made the game free on mobile, also in preparation for winning the award. I downloaded it while they were winning, and then turned out they didn't.
So, this is Player Choice Awards, isn't it?
Player's Choice ended up going to Genshin Impact.
Oh, okay, so only the Player's Choice Award specifically is voted on by fans?
Yeah, okay.
Is that what you mean?
Yeah, I think so, yeah, sorry.
This whole award ceremony's weird, is what I'm saying.
To be fair, the indie section was pretty stacked. They had Stray, they had Vampire Survivors, they had Tunic, which is like a cel-shaded Fox Zelda, and some other stuff, but those are the three that I very much recognized all three, very much have enjoyed content on YouTube of people playing it, so, like, all three deserved a very good shot at it.
I will say with Stray, the way the game looks, I would not have guessed it was an indie game.
Oh, absolutely not. It's more polished than a lot of, like, full studio releases. Possibly because they had their own timescale to work with rather than, studio crunch.
Yeah, well, that's a fucking topic we could make a whole podcast on.
Yeah. Genshin Impact, as we say, got the Player's Choice Awards, beating out Sonic because Genshin bribed their players with some Primo Gems.
Yeah, well, here's the thing, right? Because I actually do want to... this is the other part of the Game Awards where I can speak on. Because Reddit's been fucking hilarious lately.
Mm-hmm.
There's a very weird love-hate boner between the Sonic fan base and the Genshin fan base right now. Mostly because of this award voting. There were shit posts on both sides. One person went out of their way to make fan art of Sonic making out with Lusamine. Not Lusamine. Lumine. What's her name?
Yeah, Lumine and Aether.
Yeah, but specifically the girl version, because Sonic can't be gay. But, yeah, so there was some really funny shenanigans going on. I do want to point out that the player choice, in this regards, it does feel very tainted. However, this is the award that most studios are not going to give a fuck about.
Yeah.
Genshin gave a fuck because they wanted an award at the ceremony, therefore they bribed their players. Most people will look at this and go, they bought it, and that's fine. In theory, anyone could have done the same thing.
Mm-hmm. I mean, Genshin's what, 2 years old now, and it's,
it feels fucking ancient.
Yeah. It's old, and it didn't win the one that 14 won of the ongoing game, so they had to bribe their way into some other award.
At the end of the day, as good as it looks and as good as it feels, and I know a lot of people enjoy it a lot, and that's up to them. The fact that I find myself dropping the game more often than picking it up means I'm clearly not a fan, but of the gameplay anyway. Like, I like the story, I like the characters, the gameplay is repetitive and boring, but it's a gacha game where you grind. That's the only purpose. Of course, it's going to eventually get stale for most people. So yeah, they were never going to win against a proper MMO.
It's one of those, I think that genre has the absolute best gameplay of any gacha game.
Oh, you mean specifically Genshin is the best gacha game?
In terms of the gameplay, like what you do outside of pulling, I think it's got the best gameplay.
That's fair, especially seeing as there is a game that released that a lot of people immediately dropped, which basically was like, hey, we're Genshin again.
Yep, Tower of Fantasy, Space Genshin.
Yeah, and people were like, played it for 5 minutes and then went, okay, I'm going to go back to Genshin now.
They're going back to the game that has stood the test of time and will still be there in 8 months. Like, all 4 Tower of Fantasy continuing, all 4 there being competition. However, there is a bit of a self-fulfilling prophecy of people will flock back to the thing that they know is going to keep going. The last award that I was going to talk about is Bayonetta 3 got the action game, and because of that, it's going to get a prequel game.
It's going to get a prequel game just because it won the award? What?
Well, it's not just because of it, but it's off the back of it. They did the announcement.
Oh, okay. So you think they would have held off on the announcement if it didn't win?
Yeah.
Fair enough. Speaking of game announcements, hey, do you want to get into that?
Yeah. Top announcement, Hades 2. That's the one that we all wanted to see, and none of us expected it.
I never thought this was going to happen because, as far as I'm aware, the studio's never done a sequel. But yeah, I'm excited. I've seen a grand total of about 8 screenshots. 1, it is very definitely a sequel. 2, it is very definitely still Greek because one of the gods that they showed that gives boons now is going to be Apollo.
Okay.
And what I think is going to be the storyline, because based entirely on one screenshot, is either Hades has been disposed or something's happened to Zagreus and he looks like Hades now and is chained. Someone is chained up and they look like Hades. So
okay.
Hades is no longer in charge of the underworld is what is going to basically be the plot.
Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough.
So I don't know what the actual plot's going to be. I've got no idea who the main character is. There's mentions of another character who is either an OC or a character that is obscure enough in Greek lore that I have no idea who the fuck they are.
Yeah.
Which is fair, because a lot of the well-known ones they already used in Hades. But yeah, that's all I gotta say. I've got a massive boner for this game. I'm gonna buy it day one because Hades impressed the shit out of me. I regret holding fire on Hades for so long.
Yeah. Tekken 8 and Street Fighter 6.
That's interesting.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure we've seen Street Fighter 6 announced before, but now they're like going all out on it. But Tekken 8 is also announced now.
Tekken 8 is exciting because, Tekken's one of those fighting games that's always there, but it always seems rather understated because the big rivalry's always been Mortal Kombat Street Fighter.
Yeah. I think Tekken had more of a rivalry with Dead or Alive back in the day, like in like the PlayStation PS2 kind of era.
Yeah, maybe. All I know is that Tekken is the most likely game to have guest characters blow your mind, because I still remember everyone flipping their shit because goddamn Negan from The Walking Dead was a DLC character.
Yeah.
And everyone was like, what? And that was off the back of Noctis.
Yeah, absolutely. We got the Suicide Squad trailer. We've seen the Suicide Squad trailer before, but now it's more ramping up, and we have the information that it's going to be Kevin Conroy's last performance as Batman.
That's sad, but at the same time, at least there's one more coming.
Yes. It looks fun, actually. It seems to be more based around Harley Quinn, as it should be, and the subtitle is Kill the Justice League. We knew about Jedi Survivor, now we've got a trailer.
Yeah, Cal Kestis is all fucked up now.
Yeah, he's older, more grizzly, he's got a beard.
I really wanted to like that game, I really did, but it's got that same complaint that I have with most Star Wars games, and that is, why does lightsaber not cut through thing?
Yeah, if you're going to give someone a lightsaber, make it a lightsaber. Don't just make it a vibrasword. Like, if you want to make it a Vibrasword, give them a Vibrasword and make the lightsaber the endgame thing.
I get it, it's Soulsian, and the gameplay was fine early on, but I really hated fighting creatures, and it's just like your lightsaber just bounces off their hide, and it's like, well, okay. Question, why is every Jedi or Sith or anyone who fights these people regularly not just making armour out of this thing's hide?
Yeah. Space Marine 2? Yeah, the first Space Marine was a long ass fucking time ago.
Space Marine was basically people wanted to play Gears of War on the PlayStation, but they couldn't.
Yeah. So the Games Workshop IP, which, you know, Games Workshop are absolute sluts with their IP, just decided, let's have an Ultramarine fighting some war orcs. There is a Relic Hunters Legend, which looks like a cartoony multiplayer Survivor style game. I'm gonna keep my eye on this. I don't know if other people want to jump in on it with me. Crash Team Rumble.
Crash Team Rumble?
Yeah, that's all I've got about it.
Okay, I might be getting a bit hyped for nothing over this, but that sounds like it might be a remake/reimagining of Crash Bash.
It might be. It says it's a 4x4. Oh, sorry, 4x4. 4 versus 4 fight for fruit.
Oh, okay, it's nothing like Crash Bash. Oh, well. Well, maybe it is, actually, because there are two teams of 4, good guys, bad guys, except the good guys got 2 bad guys back in the day because there weren't enough good guys. I'm not joking, it was a 6 versus 2 in the opening cutscene, and Aku goes, "You've got too many players," so Uka just gives 2 of his away.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was basically a party game where, well, everyone's played Mario Party. It's a bit similar. It's not a board game or anything. The single-player game was, you had the Warp Room and you'd play mini-games. It was literally a party game, but with Crash characters. So you had, it was kind of like pinball, but it was, not pinballs, Pong, but there was 4, one person on each side of the screen, etc. There was loads of balls, all sorts of crazy things, and each Warp Room would add difficulty to each base mini-game. So,
fair enough.
Yeah, like random hazards to the stage. All I'm saying is, if it does end up being Crash Bash, but in the modern age, I'm excited.
It actually looks like it's a MOBA, because...
that's a shame.
Yeah, it is a bit of a shame. Because, when they show a preview of the Versus screen, there are some very obviously villain people on Crash's side, and some very obviously hero people on Dr. Nefario's... Not Dr. Nefario. Dr. Insane, is it? Yeah, Dr. Cortex's side, yeah.
Dr. Insane?
Yeah, and it's the Insane trilogy, isn't it? Yeah.
Can you tell Rick's not played Crash?
Yeah, I'm going back to Dr. Nefario. Just go back to Despicable Me.
I'll dig into this a bit after the podcast and see if I can see any more hints of it being Crash Bash. I'm gonna hold out hope until it's dead.
Yeah. And the last thing I was going to say is, in a bit of an ugly Sonic moment, we've now got an Italian accent for Mario from Chris Pratt. We were told, we found out recently, allegedly, he was given the Mario script to read blind, not even like having the other parts of the script to riff off of and know the context or anything. So, awful voice direction, just so he could avoid spoilers for the Mario movie, which was an edict from on high. So I can kind of forgive a shitty performance based on the fact that he's been given shitty direction, and apparently they're now starting to fix it. So he's now getting a bit of an Italian accent going into his...
So that thing that I linked the other day ended up being proven to be true.
Yeah.
In which case, I wholeheartedly apologise to Chris Pratt, because I've been giving him shit, not on the podcast, but as soon as I've linked that, I said, if this is true, the dude needs massive apologies because he's been fucked.
Yeah. But it's a bit of an ugly Sonic moment that the studio has taken on board the criticisms and seems to be doing a course correction, which, applause for admitting a mistake. But I think that's about it from the Game Awards. So, how have you been, and how has your week been?
Well, as I mentioned before, I finished the story of... this was actually a week ago now, to be fair. It was pretty much the day of the last recording that we did. I finished the Ragnarok story.
Yeah!
Now, I am about to spoil the shit out of God of War Ragnarok, so if you've not played that game and you want to, fast forward about 5 minutes. Alrighty, and 3, 2, 1. Do you think they're gone?
Yeah, I think they're gone.
Alright, cool. Fucking hell, that game surprised the fuck out of me.
Fair enough. I don't know anything about it, so lay it on me.
Very early on, you rescue a god named Tyr. Tyr is the Norse god of war, and it was like, oh wow, you're a big bastard, you're gonna be cool. He refuses to fight anyone. That's a bit bit weird, but I thought nothing of it because he had a vow of pacifism.
It's also the guy that Tuesday is named after.
Yes, and and yeah, he accompanies you for very early on in the game, and then he just sort of chills in Sindri's house, and right as you decide, yeah, fuck it, it's time to do Ragnarok because I'm sick of doing nothing. This is Kratos' words. Tyr goes, I'm going to put aside my vow of pacifism. I know a secret way into Asgard. We can sneak in and sneak out before they know we've been there. And I was like, oh shit, Tyr's pulling through. About time, because he's been a bit of a pain in the arse for the rest of the game. And then Brock, our lovable blacksmith, who is basically Danny DeVito, says, hold the fuck on. This is suspicious as fuck. And even everyone in the room is going, Brock, what the fuck, bro? And even me watching the game is going, Brock, that seems... I know he took your space as chef, but, you know, this seems a bit fucked up of you to be doing. And then Tyr has been Odin the whole time in disguise, tries to kidnap fucking Atreus, and murders Brock.
Oh no.
But actually murders Brock, not a video game. He'll be back later with the power of our Tyr's murder. And this entire time, Tyr, the big plot point, was just Odin fucking with us, which super makes sense, but I never saw coming.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Do you? It's been a couple of weeks now, but do you remember what my prediction was for Ragnarok?
Remind me what you said your prediction was going to be.
My prediction was going to be that Kratos doesn't kill any gods in this game. I was so very close.
Okay.
The only god that Kratos kills is Heimdall.
Alrighty.
And it's entirely Heimdall's fault. Heimdall is the most infuriating character in the game. He's a cocky shit. His power is he can tell what you're going to do just before you do it because he's got that much of much insight, basically.
Yeah.
Like, you throw punches at him and he just dodges and he chats mad shit the entire time because he knows everything that happens. So you need to make a weapon specifically to counter Heimdall. This weapon is a spear. This spear is made out of the ring that the Holdra brothers made for Odin, which can make infinite rings. Can you see where this is going?
Yeah.
Infinite spears.
Yeah.
You chuck a spear, it lands in something, and if Kratos summons another spear and knocks the ground, it makes the spear explode, which is like, okay, that's cool. You get the spear. Brock's like, you need to learn how to wield a spear. Kratos laughs and says, I'm a Spartan. So yeah, you fight Heimdall, and your little buddy Mimir, who's on your hip, goes, you're going to have to use the spear, brother. So you use the spear, you throw it at him, and Heimdall catches the spear in air, and he just goes, really? That was your big plan? And then you blow it up, and he suddenly takes you seriously. And yeah, it's a great fight. If you want, I honestly recommend looking up the fight on YouTube to watch the post-fight cutscene, because it's fucking something.
Nice.
It's the first glimpse we get of Kratos being fucking Ghost of Sparta again. He has such a murder boner after killing Heimdall. I'll fast forward a little bit to the end of the game. Ragnarok happens. Ragnarok is a creature in this, so yeah, that's a thing. You fight Thor at the very end of the game, and if you recall what I told you, Thor kills you within about 5 minutes of the game starting, and then resurrects you.
Yeah, you actually get your death screen, and he's like, nah, I'm defibrillating you. You don't get to die now.
It's really well done. It's another thing I recommend you looking up on YouTube if you're not going to play the game. And yeah, during the final fight, he goes all out against you. You beat Thor, and Thor's like, okay, you've beaten me, just fucking kill me and get on with it. I don't care anymore. And I think this is the absolute moment which seals for definite Kratos has grown and changed, because he doesn't immediately murk Thor. Thor's kid, Thrud, and Loki have been hanging out, and they quite like each other. And Kratos straight up says, we need to be better because of for our kids. And Thor thinks about it, to be fair, perhaps for a bit longer than he's entitled to, but he does think about it. Odin shows up all pissed and says, why haven't you killed him yet? You know, regarding to Kratos. And Thor's like, nah, I'm done. I'm just done. I don't care anymore. And Odin screams at him saying, I'm your father. I tell you to kill things. You kill things. And if that doesn't give Kratos flashbacks, I don't know what would. And yeah, Thor puts down his hammer and goes, yeah, I'm not going to do that. You want to kill him yourself. So Odin murks Thor.
Okay.
Just fucking stabs him, kills it. Thor goes away. He's dead. And I was quite annoyed about that because I liked Thor. And then you fight Odin. You beat Odin after a big old fight. It takes a long time. You have both Atreus and Freya working on your side, by the way. Freya has a face turn. And yeah, at the end, they seal Odin's soul into a little orb. Kratos takes the orb, gives the orb to Freya, and says to Freya, it's your choice what we do. And after swearing the entire game bloody that she will kill Odin, she goes, you know what, I'm content to just leave him like this, locked in a prison forever. And it's like, okay, that's somewhat just. And then Sindri appears, who is Brock's brother, who Odin murdered, and just takes the orb out of Freya's hand, puts the orb on a rock, and then smashes it with a hammer. Doesn't say a word, pieces out. And I'm like, yeah, fuck, this is a roller coaster.
Yeah.
The game is immensely satisfying. Chris Judge's voice work as Kratos fucking impressed the fuck out of me. You can hear the conflict in his voice when he's having conflicting thoughts, which is amazing because Kratos is otherwise has no emotion.
Yeah. Isn't he like bundled up rage most of the time?
Yeah, pretty much. Do you want to know how powerful his Spartan Rage is?
Go ahead.
When he's in Spartan Rage mode, if Thor throws his hammer at you, it just bounces off.
Oh boy.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah, Chris Judge deserved his fucking Oscar, but games. And if anyone contests that, they haven't been paying attention.
Yeah, I mean, I knew that he was very good at doing that voice already, and they wouldn't have kept him on otherwise. Turns out he heard that they'd replaced him, so he quit. Turns out they hadn't, so he unquit.
Yeah, well, there was that thing where one of the reasons why the game took so long to come out was, I can't remember if it was just it was surgery or if he had some sort of illness, but he was in hospital for a while, and the game company basically just said, look, we'll just wait for you to recover because we think you're Kratos, and I couldn't agree more. Allegedly, that's a story I heard. Whether it's true or not, I don't know. I've not delved into it. But yeah, he deserves his reward. God of War Ragnarok is great. Play that fucking game. If you're playing it for the story, just do the story. A lot of the game drags as far as side content goes.
Fair enough.
But yeah, so that's it for God of War Ragnarok. That was probably not longer than 5 minutes. And, okay, so in other news, I watched a YouTube documentary type thing. It was entitled Roblox Oof.mp3. It's by a guy called H Bomber Guy, and yeah, it's about, it's about 2 hours long, all about the origin of one sound effect in the game Roblox, which, by the way, I've heard of Roblox in passing, but I've never looked at it. I don't care, it's not my thing.
Yeah, it looks like a halfway house between Lego and Minecraft and getting neither of them correct.
Well, it's one of those where it's actually closer to, what's the Steam game called, which has all the fucking games you can make on?
Gary's Mod.
Yeah, it's like Gary's Mod, except when people release games, you have to pay for them to play them, and 75% of the proceeds go towards the Roblox team and not the person who made it.
Yeah, Roblox is a colossally profitable game.
Yeah, because it's scummy.
Yeah, because it's basically the stock market for kids. Gambling and stock market and market manipulation, all of these things they're teaching to kids. But yeah, you can make a game within Roblox and sell it, and you can get Robux for it.
Yeah.
And to the point that Robux are one of the more highly demanded digital currencies for presents, like even more than V-Bucks.
V-Bucks is, I assume, the Fortnite currency.
Yes.
Right, fair enough. Which, I'll shit on Fortnite all day, every day, but it's a game.
Yeah.
It's free to play. As far as I'm aware, the only thing you pay for is skins, which, it's still a scummy business model, but it's not as scummy as gacha, so...
Yeah, I think you might be able to gacha for weapon types, and then you level them up.
That's weird, but okay. It's fine. It's weird, because Fortnite's that whole thing where it turns out it's probably one of the best fucking... crossover games in history.
Yeah, you had Thanos. He appeared for a little while and then went away. But I think you can still be a Stormtrooper. You can still be Naruto. You can still be My Hero. Well, My Hero Academia is the new one, isn't it? For that.
Well, everyone's got their fucking shit bricks going on because they're like, oh fuck, Bleach is next. And then once Bleach is taken, what's going to be next? JoJo. I don't think JoJo will ever be in Fortnite. But hey, fast forward to in 3 years' time, where I eat my words, I guess.
Yeah.
This documentary, I actually will recommend giving it a watch. It was very insightful. Again, it's the Roblox Oof.mp3 by H Bomber Guy on YouTube. And yeah, for half an hour, he talks about the origin and he explains it. And then he's got a point where he goes, that's the end of the video. Don't look at the length of the video remaining. And then you look at the length and it's separated into segments. And the segment's called Normal People Stop Here.
Yes.
And so he then goes on an hour and a half deep dive into a fella named Tommy Tallarico, who... Does that name ring a bell?
To me, no, but you might have talked about him in the past.
I've never spoken about him before, because this is the first time I've heard of the cunt. But, he owned a sound design studio, basically. He did the music, and some other fella called... I don't want to spoil it, but it's in the documentary quite a lot. Did music and sound design between the two of them. And, yeah, Tommy Tallarico is a massive piece of shit who takes credit for everyone's work that's not him. And, it's just a general horrible human being.
Okay.
I also learned that Guinness World Records records weren't real world records, which was a bit of a fucking downer.
Oh.
It's one of those where actually you can just buy one.
Yeah.
Guinness. One of Guinness's business models for the world record shtick is you can pay them to think of a record that you can easily break and make, and then you pay them and you get a certificate and a frame. All in all, it costs about 10 grand.
Yeah. You can also compete on that record. So if
here's the thing.
If you can see some,
you don't have to, because you can have one that's verified by a different mean, which means it's uncontestable.
Okay.
Yeah, aka one of the ones that Tommy Tallarico had, which after this H-Bomber guy contacted Guinness to ask how they verified it, then got stripped from their website. So H-Bomber guy might be responsible for Tommy Tallarico getting a record taken away. Anyway, it is what it is. I recommend that documentary. I've said the name several times now, but it's oof.mp3. Roblox oof.mp3 by H-Bomber Guy on YouTube. 2 hours long. It's worth it. I watched it while playing Spyro, so I was happy. This is kind of world news, but also bordering on stuff I did, so we'll go through these quickly.
Okay.
As we already touched upon already, the second Mario movie trailer, or rather the true trailer, came out. Mm-hmm. It looks good.
Yeah. I basically wasn't expecting Donkey Kong to be in the Mario trailers. He was in the first trailer. I've not seen the trailers.
Okay, that's fair enough, because I was going to say they made a very big deal of Seth Rogen getting a voice for that.
Yeah. So I've done my best to stay away from it, and yet you can't stay away from it when all these news outlets keep farting screenshots at you.
I mean, I was more interested to see Cranky Kong in the trailer.
Yeah.
Because we knew Donkey Kong was going to be in it, so yeah, that was cool. I did actually say when I posted the link to the trailer in the chat, we do get a glimpse of Chris Pratt doing good voice work as Mario at the end of the trailer, because he goes, woohoo! In a Mario voice.
Yeah!
And my brain was like, well, how come he did that perfectly, but everything else is just Chris Pratt? And yeah, probably the director being a twat.
Yes, absolutely.
Also, we're going to get glimpses of Mario Kart in this movie, so that's exciting. Well, we saw Rainbow Road as well as a bunch of Mario characters in go-karts.
Yeah. I wonder how that will actually, play into the game, but oh well.
I think they're probably going to be racing to get a power star that Bowser dropped or something. That's my suspicion, but who knows? Which, by the way, again, Jack Black absolutely nailing it as Bowser.
Sweet.
But yeah, in the news of trailers, the Guardians of the Galaxy 3 trailer dropped, and boy, does it look like we're going to have a bad time.
Oh, I've not seen it. What's in the trailer?
It's just the overall tone is quite melancholy, and we know this is going to be the last Guardians film, so honestly, anything's on the table.
Yeah. It's one of those where even if there's going to be more Guardians, we know that at least a couple of them are going to have to leave, because now we've got Adam Warlock.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with Adam Warlock. That's really a character that should have been introduced pre-Thanos, because his big deal is he can fucking whip Thanos.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know what's going to go on with that. I don't know if he's going to have a face turn or something. I don't know, but it's all very curious. We only get a brief glimpse of him in the trailer, which good, because he's definitely going to be the main problem. And yeah, I'm eager to see that film. This is the first time in since Spider-Man No Way Home that I've been excited for an MCU project. So take that for what you will. Okay, Rick, you ready for world news?
Yeah, let's go into the world news.
I've got one funny thing and 3 things that are just kind of depressing. How do you want me to do this?
Start with the depressing ones and end with the funny.
All right, cool. Rick, strikes everywhere.
Strikes, yes. Yeah. We've had we've got the postal strike.
That's been going on for about 3 months now.
Yep. It's ramping up now that it's Christmas time, so basically if you want to post something to a friend, you should have done it a while ago. It's
one of those where I'm only bringing this up because Britain's in a bad way right now, because we've had the Tory government for, since time immemorial, and shit's bad. Everyone's deciding to strike because no one's getting paid fairly. The cost of everything is going up, but the workers aren't seeing any of that increase. So what the fuck's going on? Oh, rich people being cunts.
Yep.
And the thing that's irking me the most is the mind games and the fuckery that the media is playing, trying to turn the working man on one another, and it's working a little bit. You get every day these interviews on the radio, because I listen to the radio on the way to work, I'm not some weirdo, what do you think of the rail strikes? And one fella straight up said, with I imagine a face of stone, well, we've all got to work, ain't we, so why the fuck ain't they? And it's like, because they're not getting paid enough, you dickhead.
Yep.
When your fellow worker goes on strike, you support them. Am I happy that post is being interrupted? No. Is it the postal workers' fault? Fuck no. It's the people not paying them.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a result of not being paid. It's the last resort. If they could have resolved it with negotiations by now, they would definitely have done so.
It's one of those weird ones as well, where the government is adamant that they don't want to give in to striking workers, so much so that they're supplementing workforces by paying outside forces. Like, for example, with nurses, they're temporarily recruiting immigrants from Africa and Europe with nursing degrees, and they're paying them extortionate rates in order to, get them to work for X amount of time. And it's like, okay, you can afford to do this as a temporary measure, but you can't afford to give them a fucking £2 an hour pay increase. The government is adamant that they don't want workers to win. This isn't a fight about, in their mind, it's not a fight about fair day's work, fair pay. It's a fight of, they're asking for a thing, we shouldn't give them the thing, or they'll ask for more. That's their mentality, and it's going to be difficult to win against that mentality.
Yeah.
Also corporate greed, because you've got to bear in mind most of these people are the Tories' mates. And I'm not glossing over the fact that Labour are also shits right now, because they're not backing unions as hard as they should be, which is they're meant to be their fucking manifesto.
Yeah, like, the clue is in the name. Labour.
Well, you got to bear in mind, Keir Starmer has gone on record as, we should get rid of the NHS, which is like, you're really not giving Labour voters a reason to fucking vote for you right now.
No, he's a Tory with a red tie.
It's Blair, but even worse, because at least Blair was just a war criminal. That's a fucking sentence.
It is, and like full credence to it as well, which is the problem.
Anyway, next up on the agenda is, hey Rick, I don't know about you, but I think we should give back all the shit we stole.
Maybe. You're talking about new museums?
Yeah. Very specifically, Elgin marbles has come up in the news, which is a Greek artifact. Now, to be fair, the fella who took them did do it through legitimate channels. However, Greece has asked for them back, and there's really no argument as to not give them back, apart from, we want to keep them, though.
Yeah, if you really want to have them in your museum, have the replica and the noblest thing you can do at that point, have a replica and a plaque from the Greek government saying, we graciously gave back the thing that we stole.
Like, for real, man, it's one of those where the biggest argument that I see against giving stuff back is, if we give one thing back, we'll have to give everything back. And it's like, yes, that's how it should work.
Yeah, I think the only actual argument against it is if someone objectionable asks for their stuff back and then just goes and sells it.
Well, yeah, but obviously that's not the case in this instance.
No, it's not, no.
No, this is like sending it to, well, literally, Greece built a museum in Athens about 10 feet away from where the artifact was found, specifically for Elgin's marbles. As far as I'm aware, it's like the fucking Very Odd Parents meme of, here's where I put Elgin's marbles, if we had them.
Yep.
It should be a case-by-case basis, don't get me wrong, but for most stuff, it's like, yeah, just give it back, we nicked it. Like, it was fair game at the time, but we've grown. Let's be the country we're meant to be and just give shit back. And then it's like, oh, what's to stop them from taking the royal jewels back? Well, you know my opinions on the royal family anyway. I don't give a fuck. Oh, rich person has to give shiny thing back as if they can't afford to get a new one. But anyway, it is what it is. I won't rant too much upon that. But yeah, the last bit of depressing news is just when you think Kanye can't get any worse.
Oh, fucking hell.
Every fucking week with this guy, he just digs a bigger and bigger hole. First, it was a little bit of light anti-Semitism, which a lot of people went, every celebrity does it, which is fucked up in its own way, but whatever. And yeah, it's very quickly dissolved into, Hitler was a great guy. Is there any elaboration to that, Kanye? Nah.
Yeah, and every time they tried to steer it away from the conversation, apparently he just kept repeating it. This was with Alex Jones, by the way.
Yeah. When Alex Jones is the sane, reasonable person in the conversation, there's a fucking problem.
Yeah. Oh, boy.
I can't even remember the exact context. Kanye said something about Nazis being not too bad, and Alex Jones went, oh, you just mean you like their uniform and stuff? And Kanye went, no, Hitler was a good guy. And Alex Jones' face just sort of fell and was like, oh, fuck, I've just lost a lawsuit for billions of dollars and now I'm doing this shit.
Yep.
Which, by the way, I've got no sympathy for Alex Jones. He deserves everything he gets, but for fuck's sake.
I think this is the first time that Alex Jones has taken down an archive from his website. This is the guy who champions, in inverted commas, free speech and all full accountability and records, basically when it conveniences him. And
oh, don't worry. Plenty of YouTube videos exist of the infamous moment.
Yeah, I know that at least one person has been banned from Twitch for rebroadcasting it.
It is technically copyright, I guess, but I think that's probably the issue that they had rather than, the racism.
Yep.
Honestly, I don't know how he still has fans, old Kanye, because I can't think of much worse for your career than to say, yeah, Nazis, they're alright.
Yeah, I remember one time I got a little bit of respect for him because he was at a petrol station getting, like, assaulted by paparazzis, and he just gave them a really, like, nicely thought out and respectful speech on, do what you want to me, but leave my wife alone.
Except it's Kim Kardashian, who lives for that shit.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. She's drama incarnate. And now they're divorced, so, you know. So, yeah, that's it's now under the bridge and gone. Been done, gone, and the man's a crazy person and needs mental health care.
Which he's not going to get, by the way, because he doesn't want to be treated anymore because he thinks all doctors are Jews and Jews are out to get him. I wish I was making that up.
Yeah.
And by the way, just in case we're going to get another automatic fucking complaint on the fucking video, I just want to stress for people watching this back, that was me quoting Kanye and not me being me.
Yeah, that was a quotation, not the views of Nonsense Review or the people who work with it.
Yeah, all two people.
Yeah, all two people.
Right, shall we end on a bit of fucking funny news?
Before you do, the one thing I had to say about unions is Activision has their second union has been formed.
Okay.
But they nickel and dimed the people who are in it, refusing to pay them for time spent in the negotiations.
Okay.
All while they had an $800 million opening weekend for Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2.
Yeah,
Yep.
But capitalism's great, though, isn't it? So...
Yeah, eat the rich.
Right, okay. Happy news?
Yeah, happy news.
I kind of actually told you this one last week, because it happened while you were away doing something, and I burst out laughing because I was browsing Reddit at the time. Cactus Girl exists.
Yes.
Okay, so there's a sub on Reddit called R Politics. I think it's Global Politics, World Politics, I forget the exact name. And I was like, oh, that sounds like a pretty serious sub. And because I'm subscribed to a fair amount of pornographic subreddits, I just had someone share a post from it of a woman with a cactus shoved up her fanny. And it's a long old fucking paragraph long title to the post of, I am now Cactus Girl, and this and that. It's basically a big publicity stunt for OnlyFans, so, you know, fair play. I just hope that she realises that if she gets a bunch of fans for shoving a cactus up her fanny, they're probably going to want her to do more fucked up weird shit going down the line. But whatever.
Yep.
So, yeah, it's essentially the meme of even a cactus is a dildo if you're brave enough, but this woman actually did it. Fair play.
Yep.
The picture is not that exciting. It's literally what you expect, a woman with a cactus coming out of her fanny. It is what it is. She's got a very beautiful body, of course, but then again, she's on OnlyFans, so what do you expect? And yeah, she's like, if you want to see the full video of her using it properly, subscribe to her OnlyFans. I don't doubt that there is a fair amount of her fan base that just paid the money and went, I gotta see what the fuck. And so now if you see someone and they say, oh look, it's Cactus Girl, you know why she's called that. This was a weird story.
Man, all I remember is the original meme of anything's a dildo if you're brave enough, and the response is, Paige, no, as she's staring intently at a cactus. Yeah, this is the logical the logical conclusion of that.
Well, it's one of those as well. It's the exact same meme but reversed, and it's like, if it excites you but slightly scares you at the same time, you should do it. And then it just goes, alright, time to fuck a blender. And it's like, Dave, no! Like, the exact same vibes. But yeah, that was the story of Cactus Girl. It's still on politics because, oh, by the way, the reason why it's on politics is because politics went to shit when Donald Trump became president, and the moderators just went, fuck it, anything goes, post what you want, we're basically mini 4chan, but within the confines of Reddit rules.
Yep.
So yeah, that's why it exists.
But yeah, I guess we're going to move on to the main event today, are we?
Yeah, we're going to watch the first episode of Dragon Age Absolution, episode 1, A Woman Unseen. I don't know about you, Rick, but I've seen the synopsis, and it looks like it's going to be set in Tevinter, which is interesting because we've not seen Tevinter in a game.
We've not seen anything from Tevinter apart from the people.
Yeah.
We've mostly seen villains, and then we got to see Dorian.
Who is a sweetheart and a baby, and if you don't love Dorian, I don't want to know.
Oh, technically we saw Fenris as well, but he's not from Tevinter, he's just
a victim of it.
Yeah, he's a product. Oh man, it feels awful to say that, but yeah, he's a product of Tevinter.
So yes, Dragon Age Absolution, episode 1, A Woman Unseen. I can't wait for this, Rick.
Yeah, 3, 2, 1, and go.
I will say that one of the ways they've advertised this is the screenshot of the picture is what appears to be 2 women making out. So I don't think it's going to be particularly highbrow. Oh, we're starting in Navarra.
Okay,
that's where Cassandra's from, right?
Yes. If I'm not wrong, this will be Cumberland. A city named after a sausage.
In England, yeah. Well, the facial design is good.
Yeah.
I want to say the art style, but I forgot the word. Well, he's gone. No, never mind.
No, he's a second grappling hook.
That's a voice that sounds familiar.
It sounds like Zevran.
I'll tell you who it sounds like. It sounds like Black Panther, but Black Panther in anything that's not Boseman.
Okay.
So in the Marvel games and in the cartoons where they clearly weren't going to get him. Also, we know
before they cast him.
True.
Like in Ultimate Alliance 2.
Yeah. Ultimate Alliance 2 came out before.
Yeah. That's what I mean, before they cast him.
Oh, fuck, they're Templars.
Yeah, they are. For anyone not familiar with Dragon Age lore, Templars are basically paladins, except not really.
They're addicted to drugs.
Yeah.
I do want to point out that these two characters that we've just seen look like such fucking Dragon Age main characters.
Yeah. So it'll be interesting to see what they do with this, because it looks like they've got a full party going on, at least in the opening credits.
Yeah. Listen, if this first episode's good, I'm probably binging it today.
Yes.
I actually have to turn down my episode because this music is very loud.
Yeah. Ditto. I already had it at like a quarter.
It looks like they've got a Kunari in their party, but the Kunari does not look as buff as I would like.
Yeah.
Oh, that's the Dragon Age.
Kunari are meant to be like... Oh, yeah. Kunari are meant to be like the orcs of this world.
Yeah, sorta.
Ah, yes, knife here, the good old insult for elven people in Dragon Age.
Yep.
Elves being a subjugated people within the cities.
Oh, so that was straight up the Mage Tower.
Okay, so yeah, that's why the Templars were swarming.
Oh, bullshit. Listen, I feel not even remotely threatened by this guy who is clearly nothing compared to our main character bros.
Yep. And he's like 85% shout, 25% spit. That's 110%.
Yeah. Man, that was a Zevran voice.
Mm.
And that's where we get the sploosh.
Look at that bow she's got on her back.
Yes, it's got the Dalish aiming scepter gem.
Yep.
Yeah. That might be one of the best gags in Inquisition.
yeah. Like Iron Bull goes. Yeah, we got our warriors, we got our archers, we got our other archers.
Oh shit, that's Fairbanks.
Huh?
Do you remember Fairbanks?
No.
In Inquisition, he's in the... Oh, fuck, I forgot the place's name. He's in one of the areas... in
Skyhold.
He's not in Skyhold, he's in the jungle, the green area in Orlais.
Oh, okay.
Leading the resistance there.
All right, okay. It's been a while.
Yeah, it has. Emerald Graves, is that what it was called?
Yeah. So, Inquisition was the first game that I got on the PS4. So
fair enough.
That's how old it is.
Yeah.
Like 2012, 2013 kind of time.
Yeah. Like, no joke, this is more or less how I have my Dragon Age party all the time. 2 rogues, a warrior, and a mage.
Yeah. Well, there's 3 classes and you got 4 spots, so you're going to double up on one of them.
Yeah, in Dragon Age Origins, I did like having 2 mages, but that's just because Wind's healing was OP.
Yeah, and having double haste was great for getting through the deep roads, because it was fucking boring.
It did drag a bit, but it also emphasised how fucked up the deep roads were.
Yeah. If you had a main character mage, you could have three lots of haste and have triple hasted bees.
True.
Did you get through anything, and then your party members would just rubber band to you?
Yeah. Ooh, she ain't fucking round.
Yeah, going for the Adam's apple.
What's the old saying? You have to say you are the boss.
Yeah. Yeah, if you have to say you're important, you're not important.
Bullshit!
That was a hell of a parry.
I like how literally no one from the main party is even remotely phased by that display of skill, because they know she can just do that shit.
Yeah. Infinitely reusable detect missiles. Or deflect missiles, sorry.
So these two are clearly X's, right? Oh, okay, so this is post-Inquisition, definitely.
Huh. Yes. Talking about the...
That's... Okay. This might be required reading for Dragon Age 4.
So it would seem.
Wow.
It could be between the end of the regular game and the final DLC, but yeah.
Well, considering there's not demons running about everywhere, then maybe then it probably definitely is.
She just said the Inquisition has broken up, so it's after the Dreadwolf DLC.
Ah, so I almost called him Stolas. Solus is working on his plan right now in the background.
Man, just imagine how much more fun it would be if Stolas was in the party.
I mean, we don't know yet. There might be a character who is just Stolas.
Oh, you're killing demons. Oh, look how cute she is!
Alright, hi, not Varric. I'm getting such Adora vibes.
She's like Adora across with Pinkie Pie. Like, even before she started moving, I thought, oh man, she's cute. But, yeah. I'm all for it.
I do think she needs to be more buff. That's all I'm saying.
Well, she's a mage, so she's possibly the one who's the least buff out of all Kunari.
Yeah, I know. I just like buff women. Let me have this.
Oh, yeah, totally.
Oh, okay. Okay, so this actually does make sense, because Fairbanks is a known connection to the Inquisition, and we just established that this other mage is also Inquisition. And Cassandra looks okay in this art style.
She does. Did you hear that the voice sounded like it was sent over the phone?
I didn't, but I've also got the volume on very low.
Yeah, the voice for Cassandra was slightly more distorted than the others.
These are the costs we paid to live in COVID times. It was very noticeable during Crash 4.
Yeah,
I know
but
you
also
don't play
to have
games,
the correct voice actor. So, like, it's always good to get the correct voice actors back, even for like. I wouldn't say this is a small project, but compared to the full game.
Yeah, I get you. That being said, you did also spy Leniana just leaning in the back, scowling, right?
Oh yeah, totally off to the right in the from Cassandra's, it would be in the shadows to the left.
Yeah. I don't know the intricate backstory, but from the elf's point of view, Miriam, it does feel like they are just trying to use her.
Yeah. Sorry, just listening to the heartfelt times.
Yeah. Poor tragic lesbians. I'm pretty sure that is actually a fucking TV trope.
There we go, that's our opening shot.
It feels so manipulative, though. Like, the feelings might be genuine, but the fact that she's really hammering it home when she wants to recruit her, it's like, it feels a bit...
Feels a bit villainous, yeah.
Sorry, I just noticed the Canary girl keeping the tree open for just a little bit, and then remembering that the only person left is the dwarf, so fuck it.
Yeah.
Hey, here's a bunch of lore you'll already know if you played any of the games.
People hate the Kunari. People just sweep the elves under the rugs.
Yeah. Okay. That's quite a target.
Yeah, the Black Divine. Because there are two divines at all times. There's the divine of the regular chantry, which is always a lady, and there's the divine of the Tevinter chantry, otherwise known as the Black Divine, that's always a bloke.
Yeah.
And he can train his lineage in terms of succession back to the guy who killed Andraste himself. I forget the guy's name.
I fucking doubt that.
I don't know. She is an elf from Tevinter.
Yeah, but Deep Roads. There's a there's a reason why that's a death sentence.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a theory that Kunari are dragon elves.
I don't really care for that. I wonder if this is just like showing off a little bit of a early concept art for the game.
I'm kind of here for it though. Like, we've not seen Tevinter in any real aspect at all, like we said. So it's great to see this culture that we've just been withheld from it.
Mm-hmm.
And yet they don't have the problem with the Kunari, who they literally are at war with.
Yeah. I do like the design of fantasy gold coins.
Yeah.
Well, to be fair, you claim to be nobles.
Mm-hmm.
So 5 gold ain't shit.
5 gold is nothing for nobles, and yet it's probably the sum total of what you'd probably earn in Dragon Age 1.
I mean, the Canary lass, whose name still escapes me, literally just straight up said a month's wages.
Yeah, Quidian, apparently. Yeah, I think the Kunari lass Quidian, her name has only been revealed in subtitles so far.
Okay.
Ah, the Old Gods, yes. Otherwise known as the Elven Gods in cosplay.
Yeah. I'm definitely watching this episode again. There's so much going on, and it's hard to conversate while also watching. But yeah, there's a lot of connections to Inquisition so far, isn't there? Which makes sense, seeing as it's set after. I mean, fuck's sake, the quest givers are Cassandra and Leliana.
Yeah. And Furbanks.
Yeah.
By extension.
That being said, apparently Fairbanks might be a bit more obscure than I thought he was. Wow, she's like, yep, not married to that name.
Yeah, because if you buy magic weapons, one thing you might actually attract is someone a little more unscrupulous.
Yes. Interesting that the magic seller's a dwarf. Which makes sense, because they got lyrium resistance, so I guess they won't get addicted to nothing.
Yeah, so they're the only people who can work with lyrium without actually getting straight up poisoned by it by handling raw lyrium.
Mm-hmm. She's got a lady burner right now.
yeah, she got those bedroom eyes for bargaining and getting discounts.
Oh, look, the two types of warriors you could be having a spa.
Yeah. Sword and board and berserker.
Yeah. Oh my, I believe Roland is flirting.
Oh yeah.
And now he's got a boner. I can't blame any of them. All of these characters are incredibly attractive. They've got main character syndrome.
Yeah. None of them have Bethesda face.
Like, Fairbanks is a bit scarred, but he's still pretty.
Yeah. Little shit.
Yeah, that's mages.
Yeah. Doubly so into Vinter.
I like how Fairbanks is all about keeping undercover, but he's not about to let anything horrible happen to any of his people.
Yep. That's very good. It's a very good cover, actually.
Yep. Oh, you're gross.
Little shit times 2.
That's not little shit, that is... Nah.
Yeah, it's a colossal turd. My finger slipped. It took the rest of them with it, and the rest of the fist.
I'm sorry, I just like a good tavern brawl. Especially when it's clearly against creepy douchebags. Right, there we go. The rest of the tavern's going to get involved now.
Hey, Quidian's getting at it.
Yeah, even though she's not fucking hench as Kunari should be, she's still a fucking Kunari.
Yeah. Yeah, she's still 7'9".
Okay, listen, it's very simple, but it's always fucking impressive when you see someone throw a punch, and then in their other hand they've still got their beer and they take a swig.
Man, he reminds me of Darius.
Little bit. Nothing. Yeah. Just zoom in into the fucking bribe.
Yep.
I gotta love that, telling the story immediately after after they just lived through it.
When she was angry there, she sounded a bit like Meg from Family Guy, which I think is Mila Kunis.
Depending on what season, but yeah.
Yeah. Outside of season 1, it's Mila Kunis.
I mean, listen, I don't care who you are. Like, when someone implies that they want to essentially rape your friend, you're going to throw a punch. I get she's not seeing it from that perspective because she's in business mode, but yeah.
Man, the worst part is that she's so desensitized to it that that's not what she cares about.
Well, as they mentioned earlier, she's a runaway from Tevinter originally, so she knows how fucked up it is for slaves in general.
Yep. Oh, okay, she is acknowledging it now. Oh!
That's a fucking... I get the intent, but fuck, that sounded weird, you know? The gearing up, Like, yeah. I know Dragon Age is essentially just there's a fucking slave markings.
Oh yeah, she uses makeup to cover it.
I know Dragon Age is just an offshoot of D&D, but doesn't this feel like D&D?
Yep. Yep, absolutely.
So I'm going to, with everything now being revealed, her plan is obviously going to be turn herself in as a distraction, right?
So it would seem.
Or get caught with the markings as a distraction. There's the fucking... Tevinter bad guys in Inquisition.
Oh yeah, the Venatori.
There you go. I wanted to say Kunatori, but I knew it was wrong. So those markings mean something that we're not entirely privy to right now.
I mean, it could be it could even be a Venatori brand. Let's not mince words. She could be breaking into the villain compound dressed as a villain because she used to be a villain.
Maybe. Well, now it's just murder, so... I do like the detail that every time she draws her daggers, you can see the Garrock keeping them connected.
Yes.
Which...
It's a cool way of using twin daggers, like to have an additional weapon with them.
Yeah.
And also, it's a returning dagger because there's a garrote wire on it.
Oh, so job's done with not much trouble.
Yeah.
I guess her plan didn't involve getting captured, so that's something. So, yeah, we've got 2 minutes of credits. Oh, by the way, I do know that Matt Mercer's in this, but I don't know who he plays.
Okay.
So I'm going to keep an eye out on the voice actors.
Oh, he's Fairbanks.
Oh, well, there you go. Again, I don't watch Critical Role. I don't actually know what Matt Mercer sounds like normally, but the guy can be a chameleon when he wants to be voice-wise.
Yeah. I also caught that Quidian was voiced by Ashley Birch, who you might remember as one Tiny Tina, or, more relevant to both of our interests, Molly McGee.
Huh. Fair enough. Like, they've not skimped on this.
No.
Which is surprising considering Netflix openly admitted that they were cutting back on animation not too long ago. But then again, this might also be partially funded by EA.
Like, almost entirely funded by EA. What it will be is they might be paying people that Netflix have contracts with.
That could make sense.
And using Netflix as the distribution method. Because, I think they probably want to stay away from throwing their hats in with Disney.
Definitely. But then again, yeah, no, that makes sense, especially considering they fucked up the Star Wars LP, so I think that's more of a Disney decision than an EA one.
Yeah.
Like, I trust BioWare, and I want to trust BioWare for all time, but they are, at the end of the day, owned by EA, and a lot of the staff that worked on classic BioWare properties have fucked off or at Obsidian and other shit. So...
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, Dude, it feels like a lifetime since Inquisition, and I can't wait for Dragon Age 4.
Absolutely. Like, we were so excited when it was announced, and nothing really has come of it since, but we know that it's still coming.
Well, that's the thing. Every news update is the same, and that is we're still working on it.
Yeah.
Which is better than no news.
Apart from this, which seems to have come out of nowhere. Like, the first I heard of it was when you went, "What the fuck?" and posted the link to it.
Yeah, I only saw it because I just happened to be when I'm on break at work, I browse random bullshit, and it just happened to be Facebook that day, and I'm subbed to the Dragon Age Facebook page, and it was like, by the way, sneak peek for next week, and it's like, what the why is this so little fanfare? This is big news!
Yeah.
Like, this is the first content outside of books, which I gotta be honest with you, Dragon Age books are a bit so, to come out since Inquisition, of all things. And yeah, directly connected. We've got Agents of the Inquisition after the Inquisition. And apparently in this timeline, it's one where Cassandra is not divine, neither is Leliana, which implies Vivian.
No, yeah, it's Vivian. Which is the worst divine to have.
Definitely, because all of them, unless this is, I don't know. Maybe I don't know. It's a bit unclear. Maybe it could be any of them still. I don't know. I'm going to say that a lot.
Maybe it is Leliana and she just slipped out a bit to help Cassandra for a little bit.
That is such a Leliana thing to do.
Yeah, so I'm going with that. I'm hoping for a good future where it is Leliana, and yeah.
Any option is better than fucking Vivienne. I like Vivienne as a character, but she is a selfish cunt.
Yeah.
But anyway, with that out of the way, Rick, what did you think of the very first episode of Dragon Age Absolution?
I was not expecting it to tie into the universe this much.
Same.
I'm both pleasantly surprised and kind of retroactively vindicated in terms of like how much effort they put into it. I expected maybe a tenth of this and got 100 times as much. So I'm very much hyped for the rest of the season. No word of a lie, I'm more hyped for this than I ever was for the other Matt Mercer cartoon, which is the Critical Role cartoon.
Yeah, I was never going to be interested in Critical Role cartoon. It was doomed from the get-go, in my opinion, for my interests, because one, I don't watch Critical Role. I don't care for it. People who do, fine, whatever. Don't expect me to talk about it. There's too much content. I don't care.
Yeah, there's too much of it, yeah.
It's releasing on Amazon Prime, so I've been very vocal about not wanting... I avoid Amazon as much as I possibly can in my life, which includes Amazon Prime.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, what do you think?
It was a very good first episode. It felt very much like a D&D campaign of everyone getting together. But better than that, it's like a level 10 D&D campaign.
Yeah, it's you got like pairs of player characters joining up together. It's like when you start a new campaign with new people, but like everyone knows the DM, and a couple of players have one mate that they brought in, and they've made characters together. Yeah,
it feels like, for example, if you had a DM running two different campaigns and both campaigns implode because of scheduling difficulties, 2 people fuck off from one campaign, 3 people fuck off from another one, and then the 2 remnant halves just mishmash together for a different mission.
Yeah.
I don't want to compare it too much to D&D, because obviously it's not. It's just I'm currently on a high for D&D because, as you know, Rick, I've been spending most of the week preparing for the next session of D&D.
Yeah. And in fact, the longest running D&D campaign that I've been in, technically, is the Dragon Age game that I'm in.
Yeah, because you had your reunion session not too long ago, didn't you?
Yeah, we had the reunion session after like 6 years of hiatus. But yeah, that's been going on the longest. It was the first long form game that I was in. Like I've done like one shots and weekend games before that, but like it was the first time that I've had a character for more than like a couple of days. And so yeah, Dragon Age as a universe holds a different special place in my heart, as well as being one of the best RPG series out there, in my opinion.
Yeah, I'm with you on that, but it's also one of the... I can't go back and play Baldur's Gate.
Fair.
I'm sure if I played Baldur's Gate as a kid, but, with an adult's mind, so therefore understood Baldur's Gate.
Yeah.
My go-to would be Baldur's Gate, because Baldur's Gate looks great in every aspect, but it looks awful, because it's a product of its time. It can't help that, but I can't go back. I wish I could, but I can't. So yeah, Dragon Age is also the gold standard for me, because, if you want to make money, EA, pay a little bit of money to Wizards of the Coast, reskin Dragon Age Origins, and then a bunch of people would be very happy, I'm sure. Alright, we've waffled a bit. My apologies on that. Let's do our wind down, shall we, Rick?
Mm-hmm.
That in mind, do you have a favourite moment?
Bar brawl.
Yeah, okay.
Just pick any, like, one shot from the bar brawl, the entire party just wholeheartedly throwing their backs into it, and it all starting for the most righteous of reasons, just preventing something that no one wants to see.
Literally, you could see the moment, like, Fairbanks and Miriam were just going to walk away. And, you know, it's a trope in of itself, but the bad, evil bastard has to try and push a little harder. It's like, well, I'll pay. It's like, oh, that was a really bad choice of words, buddy.
Yeah. But yeah, how about you? What was your favourite moment?
Seeing as you said the bar brawl, I'll go ahead and do a slightly different moment, but the bar brawl is up there. Very early on where they're going through the woods, and there's a bit of... It came off as banter, but in retrospect, it was kind of flirting with the dwarf, whose name escapes me, and Roland. And, when the dwarf gets back on his feet, and the Kunariu, whose name I keep forgetting, it's Caridian or something.
Yeah, Quidian.
Yeah, Quidian, just goes... hey, if you're not going to do anything with Roland, I'm going to. And then she just fucks off. Later on, we get the wink during the fight, and it's like, oh, thank you for putting gay shit in your cartoon.
I was going to say they've just got two layers of it now, because we've got it between Miriam and Hera, and now between Roland and the dwarf.
Yeah, one of them seems a bit more serious, and the other seems a bit more casual, but that's fine.
Yep. I mean, we've had jokey dwarves before. We've had 2 games of Varric. It was great, because, you know, he was pretty much the best. It's nice to see a serious one now for a change.
Yeah, I can't think of a serious dwarf. Sigrun was a bit serious, but she was mostly too fluffy to be serious.
Yeah, she was a Pinkie Pie dwarf. Like, the only serious dwarves we've had are non-player characters, like Balin.
Yeah, and Balin is the, textbook example of why dwarves are cunts.
Yeah. Yeah, we haven't had a serious playable dwarf.
Yeah, like, anyone who thinks Oghren is serious did not play Dragon Age Origins or Awakening.
No!
Oghren is serious for all of 2 seconds when you first meet him, and then the moment he joins your party, he reveals himself as the drunken idiot that he is.
Yeah, once he gets in your party, he takes his belt off, lets out his beer belly, and starts belching.
Like, he only seems serious when you first meet him, because if he doesn't seem serious, you'll say no to him.
He's got his game face on for his job interview.
But yeah, we can't only talk about the good, we must also talk about the bad. So with that in mind, Rick, do you have a weakest link for me?
Weakest link is that it took this long. Like, we've been this long without actual Dragon Age content. So it's not even a problem with the show. It's the fact that we've had to go this long just surviving on replaying Inquisition, replaying the old games, one of which, like, the DLC from the first game is now no longer available, so you can't even go back to that.
Wait, what?
If you don't already own it. Yeah, so they took the servers down for the first game, so if you don't own the DLC, you can't get it.
Well, that makes no sense. But then again, I think most... if you buy Dragon Age Origins now, it comes with everything, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, so yeah, they basically put it in a home, which is a bit of a pain. However, it does point towards them maybe remastering it.
Oh, I would love Dragon Age Origins. Don't change anything, just make it look like Inquisition.
Yeah. Like, I could deal with them if they changed the combat to be more modern as well.
That's one of the things that really ground my gears from the change between Origins and 2, and then even further with 2 to Inquisition, and that is, I really like the slow combat of Dragon Age Origins.
Yeah, fair. I get you. I've got a minor gripe within the show, though, of that it was difficult to learn people's names on a first pass of the first episode. We didn't get the dwarf's name, for instance.
Yeah, I don't know who the fuck he is. They did actually introduce him. They called him Lord something.
Yeah, and then they gave him a bit of fluff, and then that's pretty much all we got. So I think that's the only thing within the show that I would say is a weak link, but it's episode 1. Like, by the time we've got to the midpoint, we will know everyone through and through.
I think that's also a bit of a podcast tax, in that we are trying to absorb information while also talk. So some things they probably did tell us in the show, and we just glossed over it.
Yeah, we come across this a lot with Netflix shows, even ones that we really enjoy, like Q-Force. I gave Stat my MVP. Didn't even know her name. I called her Sata in the cooldown.
Yeah.
Same letters, wrong order. But yeah, how about you? What was your weakest link?
I'm going to have to cheat with the weakest link a little bit, because it's not really a weakest link, because I like it, because it's very clearly meant to be an action-packed show rather than political intrigue, and it was very fast. It's not a bad thing by any means, but everything, it just didn't... There was no breathing room in this episode.
Yeah.
But that comes with the tax of its first episode. They need to set the tone, they need to introduce everything, and they've only got 6 half-hour episodes to do it in, so...
Sure.
You know.
Yeah, I feel that. that.
Like I said several times at the beginning of the episode, I'm definitely going to rewatch this before binging the series.
Yeah.
But yeah, we don't like ending on a low point. We like to end on a high. So with that in mind, Rick, do you have an MVP for me?
I think my MVP might have to be Furbanks, because he's the one that really has brought this party together as the de facto leader, and he's the one that started the bar brawl, really, let's be honest.
I'd argue that the dickhead McGee started the bar brawl. Fairbanks just happened to be the first one to throw a punch.
Yeah, the dickhead McGee necessitated the bar brawl. Furbanks confirmed it. Yeah, it's gonna be with him. How about you? Who's your MVP?
I think you're right. Fairbanks definitely deserves a nod, but I'm going to give it to Roland because he encapsulates my second favourite archetype for a warrior character, and that is, I don't take shit seriously, but I'm still a badass, so fuck you.
Yeah. Plus, he's got the good old spear and hoplon shield.
He's got a sword, hasn't he?
I thought he was spear and shield when he was fighting the dwarf.
When he was fighting the dwarf, it was definitely a sword. His weapon was smaller than the sword, than the axe it was against.
Okay. Yeah, sword and board.
Also, the only reason why I'm inclined to say sword is because spear's not a weapon type in Dragon Age.
Yeah, fair enough.
Not for the player characters, anyway.
Yeah, only for NPCs.
God damn it, if spear was a player weapon, every time without fail.
Yeah, like I said, Roland reminds me a lot of Darius in all the good ways. He doesn't take the thing that he's doing seriously, and he looks fabulous while doing it.
Yeah, and also anyone who can flirt and fight at the same time gets a fucking tick in my book. Now, people may be wondering, hey, if that's your second favourite warrior type, what's your favourite? Busted old badass who's fighting because he has to and not because he wants to.
Yeah.
Look, aka Geralt from The Witcher, or pretty much the figure who usually dies halfway through the story but to pass the torch.
Yeah. You see a lot of old people, you see a lot of buff people. You don't see a lot of buff old people.
Yeah, they're buff and old for a fucking reason.
Yeah. They've lived through worse things than you can possibly imagine.
Yeah, and that's usually a contributing factor as to why they're just like, I just want to have a farm.
Yep.
But yeah, that's about it for today. We've managed to really talk a lot after the episode because, hey, me and Rick both love fucking Dragon Age.
Yeah, we do.
And we teased you all last week with us having a connecting theme for our 2 episodes for Christmas time. It's still the same to a certain degree, but we've tweaked it a little bit. Rick, what is the intention for what we do next week?
The intention for what we do next week is another thing that is releasing on Netflix the day of the recording. So we're going to be hopefully doing the new Sonic series releasing on Netflix next week.
Yes, and as Rick suggested this to me, my exact words were, oh yeah, they did say that was coming out in 2022. They are technically correct.
Yep, the best kind of correct. There's 3 weeks left to go. 2 weeks by the time it comes out.
Absolutely. So, yeah, not much else to say, really, guys, other than thank you for joining us as always. We appreciate it, especially if you made it this far. If you like what you saw and you want to let us know you like what you saw or give us some criticism or advice, we have the comment section down below on YouTube. If you're not watching via YouTube, but instead listening via one of our many audio platforms, you can instead send us an email. Rick, where have they said send email to?
nonsensereviewuk@gmail.com. Once again, that is nonsensereviewuk@gmail.com.
Yeah, join us again next week, guys, for our final nonsense review until the new year, because if you're not familiar, we'd like to take a break over Christmas. So yeah, see you then, guys. Bye.
Bye.